update went live today, so we're going to talk about the patch here and for the reborn guys. I got Bruce Wayne, Clutch Medic, Drizzle, Erdrick, uh, Doom Patrol 1, and myself, which is Z Driver. We're just going to kind of go through the breakdown of the patch notes, a little bit of like what we were expecting and kind of what we actually got since it is live today. Some of the stuff we may not know yet, so if there's any like major changes, we'll post a video about that. Um, but basically, I guess first things first, like, what do you guys think about the specialization changes? I'm sure you're all pretty happy about the pity system that was involved.
Nice.
Yeah.
Clutch actually wasted all those special boxes.
Yes, I did. I anticipated that I would need a lot more to get my 9 out of 10 and got it on the first try, so be careful with your resources.
I was on the other end of the spectrum. I am already seeing the benefits because I failed 4 times, going from an 8 to 9. So my odds are up to 60% up from 20, which is
let me see.
that's
Can I
nice.
fail?
It's a nice gesture on there.
I'm
I
trying
only
to
had
see if
enough materials for
I don't
two
even
And on
think
the
I
other
have a
side,
failure.
I'm a hoarder, so I'll never ever open those and probably keep them in my storage forever.
Yeah, I don't think I have a
Hoarders.
failure or like an active failure from this patch, so I can't show the added bonus, but basically like right here, it'll show the same success rate, but it also puts bonus. Basically, if you every time you fail, it's 5%, correct?
Yep.
5%
Yeah,
added
5%
bonus to
increase.
that. So this one here, theoretically, if I fail, plus 5, so it goes up to 80, and then so forth until it's either completes or it's 100% and then it will complete. So all these ones over here, all these ones that are really low start getting really low. Now we have a very good opportunity to pass these specializations. Vice failing it 30 times and never having a chance to increase that rate. Let's go back to the patch notes because that was a short part of it. Obviously, all the stuff that's no longer an option is now dismantleable. So, did you guys notice anything with the optimization? Did it feel any better on your phone or whatever? I know I play on LD Player and all that, so I don't really know for sure.
I'm getting more battery drain than I was before, actually.
I'm getting
Yes.
more FPS on BlueStacks than I previously was.
I am noticing a significant battery drain than compared to what it was.
I do know. I don't play it a whole lot on my phone usually because I'm at work, but I was trying to get through all the stuff to try to get to 115 and make sure I could at least get the round of 115 stuff done today.
Oh my god, dude.
Hmm?
Sorry, I have to chime in. There
Still
is
getting
a
pulled
there is
into-
confirmed with Dark Zone. I just
what?
died and got kicked out of Dark Zone. I have 50 minutes again.
Oh, good.
Really?
Well,
So
there
it's-
you go.
I
Anybody
was
that's
at-
watching this video will now know that basically if you want to reset your DZ time, you die.
Have somebody kill you, get kicked out, and you basically reset to 50 minutes.
Yeah, that
heard it
hellhole
here
gave me
first on
so much
Reborn.
extra time.
But yeah. So that's odd. Obviously, that kind of stuff it accidentally happens, but basically they were intending on making a better optimization of the game. Oh, it's capacity. Duh. But that means it's still if it's changing the capacity and you're taking more battery drain, that's probably. I personally wouldn't want that. Especially if I don't have the opportunity to charge my phone or something. Whatever reason.
You can't really play with the phone plugged in either because the phone doesn't have the charger bypass, so it overheats when it's plugged in.
Yeah. New regions. What'd you guys think of the new regions aesthetically or bosses, mobs, whatever? Anything good, bad?
Bosses were a lot squishier than I was expecting. I was hoping for a little bit more of a challenge. Fortunately, DZ kind of carried that for me. But visually, I loved it. I thought that they did a great job on the design and the feel of the new zones. It was very enjoyable to do that story the first time through.
I like that they felt a little bit more open than the first two Dark Domain zones.
I do believe that a couple of the zones, at least in Niflheim, which is Hela's zone, in case anybody needs that reference, a couple of them felt like they were very linear, like they were short, like they were designed at least story mode wise to not be very much, but a way for them to add primes in non-primes and like farmable spots. It's almost like they've like developed them to be like, here's regions or here's sections. Here, go if you need to go farm your dark domain crystals or whatever. You have plenty of areas to do it now. I actually think that's
Right.
pretty good. It's whether or not they're worth it or whether
Oh,
they're,
it-
I mean, a lot of people
Actually-
don't really need dark domains, so.
It'll also spread our most wanted targets out, so it's not like with Crown City when you had 1,000 people trying to kill
Yeah.
Moosh 2.
Yeah,
I think also
Moosh
with
2 and
Persium,
Chrism. Yeah, true,
there's like,
true, yeah.
basically 6 different, crown cities now.
Yeah. If they're really close and clustered and there's a good route, I mean, it breaks all that stuff up. It is quite nice.
Well, that's going to take time for us to figure out the routes, though.
True, true, but it
Critical
does
have
give
it
that
figured out by
opportunity.
Friday.
Yeah, Critical's pretty good about that.
We
But I
will.
mean, that
What he's doing right
opportunity,
now.
that
I mean,
opportunity being on the table is quite nice. Gives us more, even just variety. Even if you do think Crown City's great, but these are options to keep you from feeling monotonous. It give you a little bit of a variety.
Right. And I do
one
feel like
thing
the clustering of Convergium was a little bit better in the new zones too.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I was surprised about this patch is that they actually did do a level cap increase on this one. I thought they would wait a little bit longer. I felt like it feels like it's kind of like a system designed to allow newer players to feel like they still have a catch up. Like they're able to catch up by the level process, which is weird because it does still take a while. Your newest character or your first character does still take a while to get through all that stuff with all that power issues at that point. Like you said, it was really easy to level. It wouldn't be very easy to level if it's my first character running all the way through from 1 to 120. So
Yeah, we're all way overpowered. I think in this group, even the weakest member, we still had twice as much recommended power.
yes,
They-
I was in that margin. I was I'm 1.26 when I put my new cards on that I got today that actually put magic specific exclusives. And it dropped my power a little bit, but not very much. And I still felt like there was only a couple spots, like Mephisto and Hela, in the story mode, were the only 2 spots where I died. But I also was playing on auto and not really paying attention to the fight. So I essentially died because I wasn't trying to live. You guys all just deleted it anyway, so I mean, it didn't really matter. The mechanics didn't matter in the story mode. We kind of already talked about the new regions, so we don't really need to go into that. Collections log, stuff like, all the new stuff, all the stuff we usually have had already is now the finished version of this part. So now we actually get to see our full rewards and play around with them.
I will get into the collection rewards for a second.
Yeah.
The rewards for killing a certain number of enemies are a lot better than they were in the first half, where it was just giving us potions.
Mm-hmm.
You were getting a lot of squad power mats just for killing certain enemies.
True,
Not even
I do
missions.
remember that now too. Yeah.
Also, I think they did a lovely job with only requiring 10 primes for
Yes.
every single prime.
I-
versus
Yeah.
Yes, that is
Yes.
so
Yeah,
much
that-
better.
that cap
I hate
was
30.
just too big the first time around.
I think it's meant to facilitate some sort of grind process, but it just becomes painful. And most people want to grind the one that gives their Omega card, so they're kind of leaving their other ones or killing them or making them spawn and having to deal with them while not getting any rewards because they've already yielded their rewards for the day. So
What
it's at that
I-
point you would only be doing them for the fodder to upgrade your cards.
What I find odd is that, ironically, the one thing that they could have changed to make the grind to the 30 primes process easy with giving you a timer is when they decide to make it not 30. So not only is it significantly easier to be able to tell on the map
Hmm.
when that prime is available to be spawned, so you know not to sit in a channel for an hour knowing that you just missed it by a minute.
Well,
But,
they
yeah.
did change it for the first half of Dark Domain. War Machine and Dormammu were only 10 each also.
Yes, yeah. They did change it then. But the problem was all the old ones that were just annoying to deal with anyway. It's
Well, it
just
could
more
have
of a
been,
process.
It could have been a similar trend because in previous zones, like you have Ares. Ares is only 10 versus the back half of
What,
you have
Call
Miles
Obsidian's
Gideon.
30, I think.
Versus
I know
Xander's.
Maestro is, yeah.
Modoc.
There was
30
Yeah.
Modocs.
30
There's that
Modocs.
fear.
It was egregious.
It's been 5 months since I did those 30 Modocs, and I still wake up in cold sweats.
It was bad. It was dark
I mean,
times.
yes, it's very, very painful, and I know we definitely are glad that they took that as constructive criticism from the community or just noticed it themselves. I'm sure people complained, so I'm sure that's what it was. Hero potential. I've heard some mixed reviews from you guys about this, so Doom, since you already looked at it, I mean, I know I play her too, but you're kind of intending doing the transition to her. Why don't you talk about Storms?
I'm a little disappointed in Storm's new potentials.
Because
to
she
say the least.
got defense, HP, and accuracy rate, right? So basically all kind of like miscellaneous ones, whereas
Survivability.
Magic got I can actually look or show it.
I'm gonna
Magic
be upset by this, aren't I?
Be
not
upset
too bad. She got attack, defense, and crit rate. So she got 2 out of 3 damage
Okay.
multipliers.
attacking crit rate.
Star-Lord got attack, defense, and accuracy rate. The accuracy rate I actually needed, so I was fairly happy. A little bummed that it was just attack
Yeah.
and defense. I feel like at this stage of the game, we're looking for the more specialized stats. I would have loved to see more status act come back since they revised the previous tiers, and that's something that
And
a lot of Star-Lords bank on.
Yeah, and a lot of this, when like something like this happens, it's gonna cause people's gear to almost be bad. Just
Right,
because,
gotta be
like,
reworked.
we're a perfect example. I mean, my Magic has a 3 accuracy rate chest. That's fantastic, right? That's great. I love it. But I got accuracy rate in my 5. That means if I get accuracy rate anywhere else, even with that, I might actually like wish I had a 2 roll.
Yeah.
Because or I didn't get it on this one. It was Thick for Storm. That's my bad.
Well, it's only 8% accuracy. So
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah. For Storm, I just feel like if you're gonna make her the queen of PvP and then you're gonna give her PvP stats, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the queen of PvE. Yeah.
Yeah, the queen of PvE, and you're gonna give her PvP stats, and it kind of goes away from the direction that I'd like to see the character go. But then my Iron Man, he gets an attack in his 5, and it's a percentage. Did anybody key in on that?
Are all percentages at this
they
level
should
now?
be all percentages.
Yeah.
I know mine were.
But
So
the base attacks were raw attack.
Yeah, but
So-
here's the thing: the
Raw
percentage.
attack would have been better, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, anybody who's gonna start to cap out the potentials at this level, because I need 2,700 more to finish mine, is somebody with so much raw stats that the raw stat gains don't do us anything. The percentages will be better for us than they will be for a low level player.
Absolutely not.
No. Yeah, I agree with Doom on this.
I
I was
so
playing around
much-
with badges, and those figures create
They-
they're huge.
even small amount of raw stats, because there's only so few places to get them, is a giant hike because I have so much percent already.
Right.
Whereas that percent is a drop in the bucket.
Yep.
Yeah,
Maybe I
so-
just don't have enough. Because I didn't finish doing the defense potentials. I did accuracy first,
Well,
so maybe I just didn't notice it yet.
It's also way more noticeable when you get into the close to the 2 mil zone.
Right.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
insert my Captain Marvel here too. The raw stat for me is even more important since I get like 70% bonus attack now. The new badge set for the new card set. Insane.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely talk a little bit more about that because that's quite important for a few characters in this call. But I hopped over to Spidey since our Spidey expert is busy. I figured I'd give a look at his. He gets another set of dodge, so that allows him to not have to roll or get into dodge as much in his gear or his cards or whatever, right? I mean, not cards, but badges. I always say cards instead of badges. HP and attack. That's not bad. I mean, if they were already maxed on dodge, all this does is allow them to move that stat somewhere else, which is good for build base because it allows these characters to start deviating from a set or a build that was kind of overcapped at this point. Now they can facilitate that into another stat. Will this cause him to be a little bit more annoying? For sure. I mean, giving him the ability to have max dodge or maximum opportunity for dodge and going into another stat, that just caused, if the character's already a problem for you, it just makes him even more one. I mean, it's
Imagine
yeah,
if we
it's
have to
obvious.
start fighting Spideys who swap their dodge cores for defense cores.
Yeah. So like when you do
God
hit him, he's
forbid.
actually tanky.
Yeah.
But I was more related on the fact if they could start deviating a little bit off of their badges for the blue cores to get the green cores that they were rolling off because they were like, oh, I have dodge percentage, I can throw that core on. Well, now they don't need it, in theory, right? Now they don't need it, so they can get their defense pierce. So then they can start beating the crap out of Captain America's even more than they already were.
So much fun having to deal with a kiting Spidey.
Um, while I'm switching over to see the ones for Doctor Strange, um, you already talked about your Iron Man ones? We already talked about Spidey, Cap ones. We kind of already went about, right? I
Well,
know.
Cap is 2 times defense and 1 accuracy, which is almost what I asked for.
I know you did lose status effect resistance from the changeover they did prior to this on the balance change.
Yep.
So I know that that's something you were kind of hoping to get back. But I mean, if you got double defense with attack, that's almost perfect
Yeah, I mean
for a
it's
pure like translation of defense and power, since you get power from defense.
yeah, it's pretty nice. Maybe when I get new badges from the new Blitz, I'll dump my 2 times defense badge and get one that has status effect resistance.
So since I already hopped over real quick, since I can get it real quick. Strange got defense, HP, and accuracy rate, and I mean that's kind of it's pretty blanket. So I mean, what's the same as Storm almost, right?
Yeah, it is the
So
same as Storm. Yeah.
it is the
yeah,
same.
so I mean that allows these characters that kind of have a little bit of a lackluster performance in the survivability train to get a little bit more of that opportunity, and also get away from having to tunnel on the one thing that everybody felt like they really had to get because nobody built it on their costumes, which is accuracy rate. So everybody had to go get the accuracy cards, because that was like our only opportunity for it at the time, basically. Until people were able to get a little bit more gear to, build up new sets of gear, and the whole change they did previously where the nanoing higher grade into a lower one combines the nanos. So now, like when they did that, you're allowed to like, oh, I could build up a new piece of gear and then just throw the nanos on that one. And I know Driz, you had done it before. I know you were sad that you had to lose a few nanos in the process because it was nanoing too many into a
I
lower one.
actually
But
decided to wait,
oh,
per Dean's advice. I thought about it. I had spent so much resources re-rolling in the past to get the chess piece that I have now with 1 stack of accuracy, and the other stats they're meh, and it really became this mad dash for accuracy so quick, and I felt that deficiency so immediately in PvP modes. You had to do it, but
mm-hmm.
I am glad with that change of being able to combine them. But I don't like where I'm at being max nano, because I feel like you're being penalized for being at that point if you want to switch your nanos over to a new piece of gear that you made. And I've got 3 much better PvP pieces that I would like to use, but I'm kind of feel like I'm just sitting on them at the
Holding
moment,
your
waiting to see
breath
what
right now
happens.
to decide what you feel. Yeah. Um.
You might
Yeah.
as well just start building it up and use your current one as your PvE only chest.
Captain Marvels are mediocre.
For her potentials,
Yeah.
you said they're not very. What were the 3 that she got this time around?
It is attack, defense, and accuracy. The attack is great.
Okay,
Accuracy is
yeah.
okay.
Well, I
And
think the main thing with like the characters that don't get accuracy in their specializations, talking to you, Iron Man, um,
Mm.
a lot of these
Alright.
characters that don't get it normally or don't get a ton of it normally did get it in this potential. So it's allowing a lot of those people that had, like I said, had to get that card just to literally have any amount of accuracy. They get a little bit of it through their potential now. I think
Well,
that's a
and
good avenue to stem that problem that everybody was having by doing it that way.
Yeah, this.
to
Go ahead,
just
Doom.
something. If you notice when leveling, you'll notice it in DZ significantly more when you're fighting higher level primes or bosses than you tend to actually miss more often.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like they get dodges. So this may actually end up playing into the Alliance raid mode. They may make those bosses higher level so that they
True. It's
dodge.
very possible. Yeah, I agree. I think there's going to be a few things as we as a community in general playing the game have evolved our ideas of stats. The same thing as one that we'll definitely get into later that I initially hated and now I love and now I'm begging for it.
Regarding the defense potential for
Mhm.
Captain Marvel, it's one of the things that came up is that all the Captain Marvels were building dodge if they built any defensive stat. And then critical, couple days after the balance patch, he started swapping out everything for defense, and I've noticed him doing really well in PvP now, thanks to it.
I mean, I don't know who was going dodge. I personally wasn't going dodge because it was that logic with Spider-Man, right? Like Spider-Man lost all his active dodge. All he has is his passive dodge. So now everyone's gonna be just countering it in that sense. So everyone's gonna go back to stacking accuracy. In which case, that negates the dodge rating on any other character as well, because people are already gonna be stacking it to beat Spider-Man. So everyone's just gonna passively just not have any relevancy for their dodge statistic.
I've
Yeah.
been saying that since a month in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're not Spider-Man, why stack dodge?
Should avoid it.
Black
It's
Widow.
great for the
I
boost.
think Black Widow actually is kind of like the only other character that really should look into it. With that being said, potentials for Black Widow. What did we see her get?
Yeah, so she got attack, defense, and HP, which
Mhm.
is eh. You know?
Yeah,
All
but
about
she
increasing
has.
her
I think.
survivability.
Yeah, and we looked at it a couple days ago with one of the other guys that we were trying to figure out why he hadn't maxed his potential. Um, we were just that's like the first time I really paid attention to all of hers, and like she has way more attack based potentials than most characters I pay attention to, at least. Like a lot. Like a lot of hers, it's like three of them in the whole potential. Like all three. They're like, usually you get at least one defense or one like
Oh no, all
accessory
five.
stat.
All five of them are attack.
Yeah, so I mean
Yeah.
that like she definitely could use some defensive based ones. So I think that was a good idea. Just considering when you hit a Black Widow, she usually falls on the ground if she's not way above your power. I mean, you can attest to that or otherwise if you feel differently, but I think on the general sense, like Black Widow is meant to be very evasive, but in a
Mhm.
not an active dodge sense, but more of a just you can't hit me period if you can.
Yeah.
Like she's like the kind of character you look at as a if there was an infinite iframe character stat or style, it would almost be like it makes sense for her more than anybody else in that sense.
By the way,
But
Bruce, how many untargetable skills does she have? Because I feel like Black Widow's been running more since the balance patch.
On top of the head, let me see. Step. I think she has like 2 or 3.
Because I've been noticing Black Widows, like almost none of the ones I fight anymore are using any of the shooting based skills. They're just
Well-
using all the untargetable skills.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
all right, well, I think we really got everybody. Did we get Star Lord? Did we kind of talk about him when we were talking about some of the other ones, or did we?
Yeah, we got his potentials.
Next on the notes, we had the Blitz. From when I hadn't, I did it too, but from the overall consensus, it's like a speed run. Basically,
It's
you just
right,
go in,
yeah.
get out,
Yeah,
It's basically
quick.
Maestro with an extra layer.
which is nice because
Yeah.
I mean, one of the biggest things is like the time consumption it takes to do some of the stuff.
Right.
Does
right.
take
the
a lot of your day.
Dormammu Blitz was it took
Dormammu was a
forever.
long one, and I think that was a
Forever.
good polarity. Getting very completely different sides of the spectrum of getting a pretty long one and then a very quick one.
Not only that, we can all agree collectively as a community that they put that Dormammu blitz intentionally to kill AFK players. There's no way that last ability in Dormammu's phase was meant to do anything other than kill people who are on auto, where the purple spawned underneath and just obliterated the 4 people.
I don't know. I don't usually ever get that. I've never really gotten that far.
When
Yeah,
it
I don't
first
get that
happened,
far.
when
I'm,
it
I'm
first came
sorry,
out.
mister. I can one-shot Dormammu in every phase.
I don't get that far. Sorry.
I'm so massive.
But yeah, I think I kind of concur with that statement that when it first came out, it was basically like stop AFKing. But now, basically, another thing we can kind of segue into. I know it's further down the patch notes, but we can go over it now. Auto. We just got
Auto skip.
we got auto skip cinematics, which basically facilitates to that. Anyway, but auto everything in your character kit, everything that's there, you can auto now. Like one of the things we've been complaining about, like why, like Captain Marvel in particular, why can I not auto with my ult? Like that makes no sense. It's one of the core parts of her kit. Same thing with Magic. Magic's kind of the same way. Now we have that on top of the fact that companions have an option to be enabled.
And anyone who decided to run a new Stark build, even if they're not built around their ult, if you have it, you aren't benefiting from it.
True. Yeah, if you're auto AFKing like most people, well, a lot of people do, in training grounds, you're losing out on a lot of your speed because you can't ult. Now you can. So now that problem is more, are you in a clustered area where there's a lot of people around you taking your kills at that point?
Mhm.
I mean, I think across the board, I don't think anybody would particularly complain about the ability to add in autos. I know there's certain characters that it's not optimal, but I mean, you're basically just giving yourself another ability to do a kill, and you have the option to do it without it as well. So it's not like they took it and went, yeah, everybody can do everything now. They also considered caps or Doctor Strange's characters that have a long cast time on their ult that basically it would slow down their kill speed. They gave them an option to do it without ults. I'm glad that they also considered that.
It's just really annoying that the way that you activate that step is like how many times I've thought that I took auto off and just put it on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be a learning curve too. We didn't have it before, and now our habits or our muscle memories are there. It's the same thing with the presets that they added as well, which is again another fantastic thing they added. Maybe the overlay some people didn't like too much, but I loved it personally. I know a lot of people did.
I personally really like it too.
I think it's very great because you get to see, all right, here's everything I have on my page 1 or my page A as they call you, ABC. My page A has all this. My page B has all this. My page C has all this. All right, perfect. And then that way you're basically like, I'm going in my PvP, going into my Dimension Duels, I'm going into my Omega Wars, and I'm going in for my PvE. Obviously, some characters have deviation to how that would go. Like my Storm has my Storm's built for PvE, so she doesn't really have a PvE set. She does have the skill set, but I don't like ever switch to it.
I personally set up C is like a PvP tab.
Mm-hmm.
A is PvE with companions that provide XP bonus for their
True.
bonus stat when
Yeah.
they're used actively. And then B is PvE with support skills and companions that provide a bonus stat that's relative to my damage or my stamina recovery or my supervillain damage. So I've kind of set it up that way to kind of organize the different modes that I play and the different types of PvE modes that I'm playing.
Yeah, so anybody that is not particularly familiar with it yet, this is the layout now. Here's A, B, C. These are your presets, and then 1, 2, 3 of each little loadout you have for each set. And then if you ever want to tinker with it a little bit more, you can hit the double arrow button, and it pulls you to that tab. So that way you can more alter your setup on that specific setup. I think it's great. I think it's at least even if the overlay could get tuned, perfect world or whatever, I think it's great. But even if somebody would be, I think overall it's a net positive. There's not really much you can look at and go, oh, I hate this period. I wish they'd ever have done it. I think it would be more constructive. Like I wish it was this way, not that way.
Wish there was a
overall,
fourth tab.
a little bit more control and quicker transitions between the exact build-outs that you need, or loadouts that you need
Yes.
for certain.
It saves a lot of time on that end, yes.
I just wish there was a fourth tab because I have one for PvE, one for Dimension Duel, and one for OW, but I use a completely different setup for AOW than I use for any of the others.
Yeah, which is, I mean, obviously, like I said with Storm, like I would want perfect world. If I played Storm as my only character, which I don't, but I mean, if I did, when I did it at one point. I would want a DD setup, an Omega War setup, a AOE PvE, and a single target PvE. That's how I would want it. I think my AOW one would be basically the same as OW, but that's a perfect world scenario. I still think 3 still works, especially because I play my character a little different. I play my setup a little different with how I play my game. So I have a little bit more of an opportunity because I play with give or take 6 presets because I have 2 different characters.
We did discover in Spec Ops it reverts
True.
back to the old system and it only changes your skills.
Well, I mean, nothing else gets truly affected. So this way, you're only really changing your abilities or your skills. So that's the only thing that even affects that. Alrighty. Raid difficulty. They added 2 more difficulties to raid. Personal opinion. I mean, basically.
I'm impressed.
What
level 4
difficulty?
is easy.
Yeah.
You have to be 115 and then you have to be 120 to hit level 5. So there are some people in our server that are level 120. They suffered through the training grounds mode just to get there. We don't know how it looks, but the difficulty. Tab back over here to show it. Level 4 requires 770,000 power. Level 115, like we said. And then level 20, your minimum is 1 mil. You need to at least have 1 mil. Your recommended is 1.1. Still not a lot. I mean, a ton. Most people at this point in the game, if you've been playing since launch, that's easy. Now, is it going to be difficult? That's left to be seen. I think if you're more of the casual or multi-character building person where you really like to try to build a bunch of different characters and put a lot of resources across the board, this might still be a little hard just because you won't have the power to blow past any sort of changes that this would have put in. But I think people like, Dragon, Drizzle, Doom, any of those guys that have a really strong PvE or just power setup will blow right past it and not have to worry about it.
I think it'll also
We'll find out.
It'll punish AFKers.
Oh, for sure. I don't think I think it'll be more punishing for it. It's just a matter of how much damage said very powerful people do as to whether or not there's even mechanics that matter at that point. I think there will be, or the mechanics that we already know about are now something you have to actively care about.
One thing to note, if I may.
Yeah.
In the patch notes, they also stated that there's new challenges associated with the new raids, so you'll be able to earn some more challenges towards your total grade for the free crystals. And whilst we're on that topic, in case anyone did not know, you have multiple layers of a specific challenge completed. You want to claim them by not claiming the claim all, otherwise you will only get credit for one of those challenges.
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure they patched that a while back.
Well,
didn't-
at least be careful about it. If it is a case, if it is something that is
Hitting
still
on the
a
side
thing.
of caution there.
If
Yeah.
they fixed it, they did not give me my points.
I don't think they compensated people. I think
Back.
they just told
They
you to
didn't
do
do anything back, but they
it.
fixed it happening.
Yeah, I do
Either
believe
way,
that they
just be
fixed
careful.
the problem. I mean, keep an eye out on it. I think it's one of the things you want to do with that, basically. But I mean, that's really it. It just really comes down to that. Basically, the raids just kind of. We were hoping that it would be a little bit more difficult. I don't think it's amounting to what we expected. Maybe we'll be
Gotta wait
surprised
for
with level
alliance
5.
bosses.
I'm just happy for the
Yep, but that's a dev note thing, so that's not in this patch, and it'll
Right,
be
I'll
down
take
the
the
road.
increased rewards.
Yep.
True.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about
Reward.
more rewards for relatively easier value.
Except for the fact that everything's going to be maxed out soon anyways with the new specializations.
True, the pity system will make it at least, but this also
Yeah.
allows you to start building up your characters for
What's that?
squad battle that's coming.
Squad battle.
battles.
Squad battle.
Yay.
So
But also,
anybody that's at least tried to build up at least one alt character will be ahead of the curve a little bit.
Free to
Do
play
you
killer.
mean-
Can actually try them
Do you
out
mean Dragon's Battle?
over.
Yes. They made a whole game mode just for Dragon, guys.
All right.
Dragon's
So
Battle.
the next note is actually pretty nice for anybody that's a content creator, streamer, or whatever, and doesn't always get into the matches, or perhaps likes to bow out so that they can allow somebody else to go in. Spectator Mode for Alliance Omega War. This is actually quite great because basically you could also just have a coach. For more or less better lack of a better way to explain it, you can have somebody that spectates as long as it's live or relatively live.
Are you able to have they specified? I'm assuming they have not, but I'm curious to know if it's something where it follows a fixed camera on specific players that you can
I
cycle
have
through,
not
or if it's an
seen
all
I have not
map.
seen any information based on how you're going to view it. I'm curious to
hoping
see
it's
because
ghost cam.
I hope that it's
Yeah,
either
ghost cam
like
would be ideal. Then you could have
Forge
someone doing
camera.
call outs.
I always call it Forge camera from Halo. Where you get to fly around like God mode. You just kind of fly
Right.
around and watch everything. But if it's not, if it's at least a full top down where you can see the entire battlefield, that would be great. If they
I'm
want it
really
to be
excited.
that you could just live through somebody else and you could just watch it, just so that you can at least like feel like you're involved as the alliance, like the
Right. Like I feel like almost every
participators.
weekend we have there's like only a handful of times where we had less than or the exact amount of slots filled. We almost always have more people turn out
We
for it.
almost always have at least a few people that don't get the chance to go.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
Really excited
also,
for it because now we can force Clutch to do the calls and not me.
Commander Clutch.
Right.
wait.
Ideal. It's an ideal.
Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. I got my PvP card today. I might actually be fighting.
Oh.
We'll see. We'll
But
see.
anyways, I look
We'll
at it
see.
as anybody that's in a big alliance, kind of, I mean, basically ours, that doesn't get to participate, but they want to watch or they want to see if they would ever enjoy it, gets to see that, and then maybe they
Right.
really start pushing their PvP set, and then they get to play later because they actually worked on it.
Right.
I mean,
PvP's only
like I
fun
said,
if
we
you're in the mix
actively
with it.
try to bring in people so they always somebody gets some rewards from it every time. We always try to get somebody in for it, but it doesn't always work that way. Especially if we do still try to win.
Yep.
4 new companions: Ghost Rider, Baron Mordo, Kasim, and Chuckles.
I think we should hand it to
Chuckles.
Driz for this section.
We're gonna start off with Ghost Rider, and yes, that's going to go to Driz.
Iron Chuckles.
Yeah, the companions were huge. Some pretty unique skills. There's a few characters that are going to benefit pretty obviously, some very specifically from the active skills on the new companions, but
Mhm.
really every character can benefit from the bonus stats that these new companions are giving, whether it's
True.
you need to stack more XP gain to hit that 120 cap faster, or if you're looking for more PvP oriented skills, Kasim is one to keep your eye on. We have to see how this plays out with our current heavy hitters in PvP modes and tight arenas like Dimension Duel versus larger maps with AOW. But his one thing that caught my eye immediately was his active skill. The reduced PvP damage decrease, that's something. It's just a direct application to your opponent's stat. It's not dependent on where your power level's at. Really, anyone can benefit from that in a PvP setting, in theory. And once I've got that ranked up a little more, I will definitely be sharing some content of how that plays out and Dimension Duel rounds versus Omega War, seeing what his reach is. But there's a little
So
bit of a debate in the Starlord community whether Ghost Rider is viable for flame builds. You got players like Sea Wild who think that there's other companions that are still more viable to run. Icarus being one that just that insane damage boost right out the gate. If you've got them ranked up, it's pretty hard to counter. If you don't have a dodge ready, you're done for. And for him, that's more viable than that Ghost Rider extra flame damage.
Mhm. And then a reminder to anybody, since I remembered about it, might as well say it. Whenever you're looking at a companion, if you go over to their skill, you can actually play their ability, and you can kind of get at least an idea of how their area of effect will at least shows. Maybe it doesn't affect as well, or maybe affects further, but at least you get an idea. Um, but yeah, I do think Kasim, however it is pronounced. I definitely think he's one to keep an eye out for. Just because the potential that he has with what he does. again, it's another situation of certain character that or a certain companion that does something we haven't had yet. So we'll have to see. It's like when we got Ghost Rider and Spider-Man. It's kind of like
If I
trying to see how
may,
they feel. Yeah, go for it.
our resident Captain Marvel Will is ready to enter the chat.
Oh, of course, yeah. If somebody can add him.
Yeah, I got him.
So we'll go back over and kind of do a little bit brief overview on his opinions of the patch in general, because we're basically coming towards the end at least. You know, there's still a decent bit, but most of the stuff we went over, we'll just get his opinion on it. Let's see. I guess I'll take this part. You know, Baron Mordo. Awesome.
Wow.
I don't know how else to explain it. They're starting to look like they might be building characters in or companions in as character specific companions, which is kind of cool. I like that idea. I like it and hate it because it may be like a really good idea for a character to get these buffs that I might want on another one. Or some characters like Captain Marvel that might really like what Baron Mordo does, but you don't get him. Not in the way that Doctor Strange and Magic do.
Womp, womp, womp.
No
he-
infinite ult build.
He does have a range. Like if you put him down or and like auto summon or whatever. I can actually try to show it real quick. Just throw myself in Hydra. I think that would be the best place to do it. Gotta go to Hell's Kitchen and let this load real quick. But basically what he does is he just drops down and he channels a beam on the character and gives them the stats.
Yeah,
that are
every
allocated.
time I look at that really is such a beautiful combination of stats.
So
that he's
here we
buffing for
see what he's
Magic.
doing. He gives me the attack, and then I go too far away, and it still gives me the buff, but he's now gone. Like the buff
Almost
still
as good.
stays for what he gave me at that point, but it'll time out.
It's almost
yeah.
as good as giving Spider-Man their own Spider-Man.
True. That's what I mean by like essentially what they were kind of building around. Donna Ports is another one that kind of works that way. People didn't know it at the time, but now it does. The all type damage applies to status effect based types. Fire, shock, chill. So basically Star-Lord and Storm really are the only ones that properly get benefit from that. There are characters that have those, but they're one ability. Like that's not a full kit.
Right, not a full skill
whereas
set.
Star-Lord and Storm, their entire kits are designed around some sort of element.
Or you can make a mistake like me and then fully invest in her thinking he was gonna give you a super big increase.
Quite true. I mean, I did it beforehand thinking that it would be a good strategy for invasion. Being able to get this character or that setup where you get her and you have somebody that has a better Athena than you activate their Athena and your Donna Ports. Luckily mine, I didn't lose the value because I was on Storm, but other people that did it on Captain Marvel, probably a little sad.
Right. I mean, for players that did invest in Donna Ports, you're not going to get the benefit out of the skill upgrade tickets you used, but as far as the XP overall, if you've strengthened her as a companion, you can still equip her. Take that bonus stamina recovery stat if you need it. It's almost 7%. It's not, that's decent.
It'll help for the squad battles when we utilize like a character that can do that. So I mean, it does have value there. It'll probably be the best companion for that situation, but
especially with Star-Lord being so strong.
Hello and welcome.
True. Star-Lord is definitely high in the tier list right now, or at least high in the eyes. I've seen a lot of people actually switching to Star-Lord because they really think he looks that good. I'm not disagreeing. I just think that's really like they're really trying to get ahead of the curve of where we see a whole bunch of people going to it and they want to be there before the others do.
I mean, he's already just about the most fun character to play as.
True.
He's just so active.
Yeah, I think he's really fun. I mean, I personally love Magic. That's why I actually committed. I usually don't like to do the whole new character thing, but when I saw her kit and saw how she played, I was like, I think this character is going to be one of the better PvP characters when she's like online compared to other heroes. We really haven't hit that point, at least on our server. We haven't really seen that, so that's left to be decided. But I really do think that once that happens, it'll be very nice to see if I'm right or wrong, regardless of which way it goes.
I will attest, as a ground-based character who Magic can focus on, that her status effect and guard breaking abilities are really annoying.
Yeah, I am getting constantly interrupted by her in Omega Wars.
And then the last companion is Chuckles. I think he's kind of, he's there. Yeah, he's a collection. That's probably all he is. He's basically there for collection stats. I don't think anybody's going to really be running him.
I don't think he's cute. I think he's creepy as hell.
That's adorable.
Right,
and I would love to see somebody pop him in a Dimension Duel round. Like that'd be the highlight of my day.
Now that we're really
so
basically
distracted.
we're
Right.
basically really at the point where we're kind of getting into the nitty gritty of like the bug fixes, kind of stuff like that. Crit, do you have any basically any overview of what Captain Marvel got, didn't get, or you felt she did get that people won't know about this patch?
I think the only thing changing in this patch for Captain Marvel was it looked like they did something to I forget what the name of the skill is, that focus fire, whatever it is, the light beams. You know what I'm talking about, where she collapsed and it's
Oh, yeah, where they used to disappear sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's the only thing they did was fix that. From what I could see, but it was interesting to see
They
that
also
they
fixed.
went in and found something
Yeah,
else to fix on her, but on nobody else.
I was
They
just
also
gonna bring it up,
wow.
Erdrick, that guard gauge. Oh man, that is so relevant now. On PvE bosses now, I'm getting guard broken in the air.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
there was a bug
Mhm.
where if Captain Marvel was flying, sometimes she wouldn't take guard damage, and I noticed that because that's how I beat Captain Marvel's, by breaking them.
Yeah. So there was one. Yeah, the bug that they fixed was that for some reason she wasn't getting attacked in the air, or she wasn't getting guard damage in the air. Now apparently that was noticeable now, as to where before it wouldn't have been a thing because you didn't know it was a problem. But yeah, so I think that really covers most of the character stuff. I mean, there might be a few things as we come down the patch notes, but we're pretty much towards the end. Now we're at the new card sets. First card set, don't really care about, to be honest, personally.
Yeah.
I think if you get the attack cards and you really need attack, sure. But max damage rate is kind of, people don't really like it too much. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's but go ahead.
For
sorry.
a brand new starting character, the two attack cards combined is a good way to push your attack if you have the right stats on
True.
your gear.
The same thing. Also with the fact that the set effect gives 2 attack, so that's
Yes.
even
Damage
more
cards.
attack. Yeah.
The 2 set is an extra attack, so
But-
you're getting 2 cards with just a bunch of attack.
I know
So-
people ignore villain damage, but it'll be really good in training grounds when you're in on your ults.
I
True.
was
Yeah,
just about to say
I
that
run
you
for
could
my
run
ults.
you could run this whole Dark Domain 4 set at blue quality and just breeze through with all that villain damage.
True. Yeah. Alt base, that would be a underlying stealth kind of thing, like something that nobody would really think about as much, especially because
Cooldown
there's 2
decrease
villain damage cards, not just 1. The
Right,
decrease
and
doesn't
even
matter
also
too
And
much.
here I
but
was thinking this was a worthless set. We found an opportunity to use
we
it.
found a way to make it work.
Well, I
Villain-
wouldn't say it's worthless either because we don't know what raid entails. There could be just tons and tons of mobs that we need to.
We
Clear
could have to have somebody that's built for villain damage, just like a storm, to just guarantee that stuff dies, or
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 an
anybody,
invasion
really.
where
But
it's based off of minion
it's
kills.
it's like waves of minions, and then there's one final boss at the end, and then you'll have time. Like we just got our new presets. You'll be able to
They
fully
did
switch
announce
over.
an endless mode, right?
That's a little bit of what the alliance rate is, I think, if I understand right.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
this will be viable for that too.
potentially, yes. It just depends on how it
I mean,
goes.
I know why they put it in. They're
I'm
trying
hoping.
to prepare.
I'm hoping, but we'll hold our breath and we'll be
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised if that's the case.
For now, it'll sit in our Omega card storage.
But now we get to the good one, or debatably good one.
I think
Dark
it's
Domain
really
6.
good for certain characters.
I agree. But the main thing is we got another crit
don't
rate
get-
card, we got another
There's-
crit damage card, 2 more attacks, which is kind of a blanket nice thing. You know, it's not great, it's not bad. But we come to the special cards in this set that came out, and that's the range damage decrease and the melee damage decrease. Personally, as a a person that plays a character that's more melee based, obviously she has some range and all that, but as a character that's going to end up taking some hits, I think these are underrated stats.
I agree with that, Z, and it's one that I focused on with companions, and I'll be adding this and the crit rate card to my PvP set every little bit. I'll be up to, I think, 20% melee decrease at that point, running Urs as well. And that's a significant bite out of an Iron Man spin blade that can keep you alive instead of KO'd in one hit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a game changer for Captain America in AOW. It's going to make Captain America a lot tankier, allowing us to better control the battlefield with Provoke.
Yeah, I think for PvP, if you're talking like the end all like ultimate set for everybody, you're probably gonna want to run both those special cards
True.
because
I
not
think
only
they'll
that,
be
but
extremely
you're getting
underrated.
accuracy from fine
True.
too.
Yeah, that's where I was going to get to as well. Is the 2 set actually gives accuracy, which is another thing where we were talking about prior. People were running accuracy cards just to get any amount of accuracy. Well, now you get even more just from a 2 set that doesn't have accuracy in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
then there's a new one they've added
Yeah.
into a set bonus for cards, which is the ultimate skill level. Again, we go to another thing that potentially,
That's
depending on your opinion and where you're at on your build too. I'm going to try to test it to see how it works. We'll see how that goes. I probably will not end up being worth it because special cards are so good across the board. You get an extra stat, everything. But
well, yeah.
we'll see. But I mean, there's 3 characters that could drastically benefit well from being able to access that. It's just a matter of if they lose too much, and that's what we'll have to find out.
I mean, the problem is you still want to get your 75% PvP increase and 75% PvP decrease, and with the special cards that allows you more chances at getting your PvP.
More chances. I mean, that's it. You know, I'll show exactly the same thing with mine. It has to roll the exclusive stat, but I have a Black Widow card with crit damage, you know, the base stat, and then increase and decrease in my bonus stats. I couldn't ask for more. Like I can spend gold to get the exclusive, but I don't have to lose my bonus stats.
Right.
Same thing
And,
with.
aside from maxing increase and decrease for PvP, I mean, there's also other stats like you're gonna have to take on your Omega cards in order to get where you want to be in PvP, like defense pierce, and all of that adds up when you're running special cards. If you can take the stats you need from them.
True.
Like for example, Captain America can swap out a PvP stat for guard damage.
But that's something that I'm gonna work around on, see if I make it work to where it's better or worse, or at least a determination. Because I think I gotta look at it again. I had it remembered, but I gotta look now because it's gonna bother me. The cards for the card sets, if you look at it, the level 6, which is all 6 of them, at least 5 of them 6-starred, one of them just even at a 1-star puts you there. You get 37 or 34.7 crit damage. You get +4 to your ult, and then you get almost 6% accuracy. And then along with all the bulky stats you get from the set, we'll see. I mean, obviously your cards have to roll great, because even if you get a 6 set and all that stuff's fantastic, if you get some bogus stat you want in the middle, it almost ruins the whole set.
Just pulled a Star-Lord just to rub it in my face.
No, he's re-rolling it.
Oh, right. Just popped up again.
I just looked at the alert, yeah. I was like, wait a minute. That's a lot of Star-Lords. New Blitz gives ult gauge recovery. Another thing about the whole ult gauge thing, or ult thing we were talking about. 3 characters really like that. Most characters don't hate it, you know? I mean, Cap, it takes 20 years to get your ult, but, I mean, it still helps to get it faster. I mean, it can't hurt, right?
And it is just about the hardest hitting skill in the entire game, I think.
We also calculated the amount of percentage that it gives you from the full badge set, and it comes out to about 18% exactly almost.
Okay, and what's the cap for ult recovery?
200%.
Okay, so that would that you get the 100% as a base number, so it's an
Yes.
extra 100%.
So
Right.
that would be what, 3
Yeah.
seconds
So
for Black Widow to
already,
get her ult?
I'm personally already at 157. I have 2 rolls on my boots. I forget if I have any on my badges. I have 1 on one of my badges, 2, so there's 2 on my badges, and then any of the ones for my potential. So those 2 badges, theoretically, if I pull them off and then put all that stuff on, that would be the difference there. And then any more
On
I get.
top of the relevancy of Baron Mordo
True.
or
As
characters
well
who
as
benefit from it.
this little guy here that I have recently started investing in with the dark magic ult recovery as my 4th specialization. So that gives me very almost Captain Marvel levels of ult recovery.
Yeah, it's very, very similar. Which
So
that
that'll be left to be determined on how incredibly good it is, especially with the bug currently. I'm not sure if it's still a problem or if it was fixed, because I haven't tested the damage difference or seen how it feels. I just know I ult a lot now
I
with Baron
think you're
Mordo.
gonna see a ton more of the infinite iframe, or not the infinite iframe, the infinite ultimate.
Yeah,
Captain
binary,
Marvel's running New
infinite
Start.
binary. Yeah.
Yeah, just because with the extra ult skill, it'll increase the amount of uptime you have on the attack percentage, or at least the amount that the attack gives. So if it's 60 now, it might give you like 65%. An extra 5% attack just from that on top of the attack hitting harder is so insane. And just the ult gauge badges allow free to play players to hit that 200% mark without needing to be a whale and getting everything perfect. It should be very easily achievable with 2 ult gauge on your boots.
Mhm. Uh, really, we only coming down through here. I mean, they did do some changes to primes and all that stuff in Dark Zone. It's I mean, they leveled them up to 120 because that's the cap now. They did take out some old ones, put in some new ones. I know it's the same thing as it was when we hit our 110 cap, where it's just pure chaos right now because nobody's at the level cap to really hit that damage threshold where it doesn't hit as bad. Because I know every time I went in there before I hit 110, it was pure suffering. I felt like I was back when I was not in an alliance and I went in against TSF or Reborn or anybody, and I just had to fear for my life. Just pray I got the tag off. That's just kind of what it feels like again. If I get hit by anything, I die. So we'll see. We'll see where it really lands once we kind of get that level cap and get a little bit more like balance on that end. But
Yeah, as it is right now, everything in Dark Zone hits incredibly hard.
yes, it's not
Yep.
it's not where it was prior, where you could have like 3 people and just clear the whole zone and not really have a problem as long as they're relatively strong, or a little bit more on the high end of strong. Now you kind of have to have a few more people because even those guys can get deleted if they don't pay attention. But the major point that I think a lot of people were at least expecting to be good, and I think that's left to be truly determined, is the Omega War change, the matchmaking change. So, on top of the fact that they did the matchmaking process to where it's supposed to be based off of your highest achievable power, which we assume, correct me if I'm wrong, we assume that that's supposed to be your elite ranking status.
Yep.
On top of that, your invincibility timer is down to 5 seconds, so it's 5 seconds shorter, and now you can die all the faster when you get matched
now-
badly.
Now I can farm you in your graveyard.
Yeah, so I think that's the only thing. From what I hear, it's kind of hit and miss on how it matchmakes. Seems like if there's a really big guy on their team, there's a really big guy on your team, and it's just a matter of how that matchmaking goes.
It does reward people that didn't power stack, put like 6 attack cards on at the same
didn't go
time.
in for pure power just to put power at your highest achievable.
Hey now.
Hey, just truth is the truth, man. Whatever you want to believe it or not.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
But I think that's left to be determined on how well that went through, especially because it's also for AOW. So we'll see how that matchmaking goes based on Saturday/Sunday. There's one more thing I did think about that I did want to bring up, but I completely forgot it already.
Oh, you wanted to talk about the new packs in the store?
Oh yeah, yeah, we'll go graze over those a little bit for anybody that's curious. Any of the ones that give you the crystals for the amount of crystals you get, so like what 2022 Lunar Celebration, you get 2022 crystals for. Not that one. That was a terrible example.
That one's terrible. That
I was
package
gonna look
sucks.
at it, but I was like, nah, it doesn't convert well. The January
good-
monthly premium bundle. You get a 6-star core. It's not the greatest one, but it is still at least the example for core to, or crystal to cost. Crystals on base
$20 one?
value cost you $41.50, quote unquote, with the bonus of $10.50. That's $90. So basically, if you were to buy just crystals, that values you. But that's been in there for a little bit, so we'll talk more about like the really new ones or the event-based ones that are quite worth looking at. Some of them I can't see because I already bought them. They're good. If there's any ones that you guys would be able to say right off the bat, just ones that you know for sure you bought, I would say Baron Mordo because he's really good. Just
step
for
up-
the XP and the fact that I play Magic.
45 for Mordo?
Yeah, 45
Yeah.
for Mordo. You get another special pool out of those 4, or
That's
a
not even
special
the value.
pool.
The value is the 10 freaking red skill cards.
Yes, you also get to get him leveled up to 5. I think it was.
Yeah, if you look at the cost of skill cards in other bundles,
Mm-hmm.
that 10 card is a massive value. Just look at the $26.
I mean, how many
companion
times?
bundle.
How long does it take you to get 5 or 10 special or level up cards?
We have a monetary comparison already. The companion
Yeah.
skill upgrade bundle, where it gives you 1.5 red cards, 1,200 crystals, 10 companion upgrade boxes, and 1 Omega companion shard box for $26.99.
For $20 more, you get 10 skill cards. You get a full
Yeah.
You get a 3-star character. What?
It's insane.
Don't you get 10 pull too or something? You get a whole bunch more. You get to level
Oh
them
yeah,
up.
you get a 10 pull.
You get it's
so
well worth its value
Yeah.
if you value XP gain at the least.
I think the Ghost Rider one is identical, which you still have available.
No, the Ghost
I do
Rider-
not personally value that. What I value for Ghost Rider is the pass reward when you complete the pass.
Yeah, the Ghost Rider
It's
bundle is
all-
actually
if it's
really, really
anything,
terrible.
I don't know what it's
Mm.
gonna be, but if it's anything like we've had prior, if it gives you the 3-star, it's usually worth its value because it's at a cheaper cost than it would be just to pull for this one. You spend $45 to get 10 shards.
Every single one of
If
the
you're
crystal
trying to
bundles
guarantee
worth it.
Ghost Rider, that's not a way to do it.
Every one of the crystal bundles was worth it this time around too. There wasn't a single one. I
The
was like,
ones,
oh my
the ones that are based on crystals, so any of the ones that are like this, where it's the monthly ones, where you
gold.
get 20 pulls and 20 draw ticket boxes. These have been out for a little bit, but it's a perfect example of a good buy. This is one that I would snag up if you got the crystals to use, because you're spending 400 crystals to get 20 more draw tickets of any option. You're still costing yourself way less in crystal value.
Doom, you had mentioned the card step up, which everyone's raving about.
Oh yes, that one I
Oh,
have
yeah.
right here. You spend
just got
1K and then you can get 2K and then you could spend 3K and then 4K. So it's a total of
so-
10,000 crystals. But if you look
Yeah.
at it, you get a 4-star of the new cards or a Dark Domain card. We look here at the chances. It's all the Dark Domain cards in general.
You could spend that on the special card alone.
Yeah. I mean,
Like 100%.
10K crystals to guarantee a special. Period. No
It's
matter
worth
what
it.
kind.
I'd spend
'Cause
I'd spend that right now.
Because maybe you don't need the new ones. Maybe you need a Star Lord. You need not this Doctor Strange. Don't look at that one. That one goes away. Don't look at that.
I would spend that right now.
Any option to get us to almost guarantee a special is actually probably worth its value, unless it's any more than this. I think any more than this is an arguable yes or no. But the fact that you're getting all of this other stuff as
I mean,
well as that,
I would argue the 300 pulls with only getting 300 cards with only getting one special tells me the value right.
I mean, it's with it being a completely RNG system, the fact that you can guarantee something of that high value in the game, just because specials are that worth it. I mean, being able to guarantee anything in any microtransaction or gotcha or gambling style. I don't want to say gambling, but
If you can only buy
RNG.
one, make sure it's that.
Yeah, if you got the ability to accumulate or buy 10k crystals, this is it. This one's worth it. Especially because the step up prior is a 6-star. That's a fodder right there. That's a reroll fodder if you need it. If you get a 6-star card up and it doesn't have the middle roll, but it has everything else, throw that at it and you got a good chance of getting something better, or even the same thing. I mean, if it's okay.
But it's something that you didn't have to spend 3 weeks farming for.
True. But basically anything where you can evaluate to yourself, how much do the crystals cost? How much do I get on monetary value to crystals? Ultimately it comes up to what you feel is good, what you like, what you think in that store values to you. But yeah, I think that's really it. I don't think there's much more. Huh? Sorry.
Down in
Oh yes, I already
back
bought
in the
most
shop,
of
the
those,
1,000 crystal packs.
Yeah, I unfortunately bought most of those. The
consumables?
only one that's left is the Dimension Box one. I don't value Dimension Box tickets high at all.
Yeah, but the other ones, the companion,
Yes.
they're all really good. You're getting
Yeah,
more than double.
they're right
your
here.
money.
I can't bring them up, but I can show them as if I bought them. Like they're there.
Yeah, that's normally an 1,800 crystal value.
Yeah, you're getting the 10 pull for the cost of 1,000 crystals. You're saving 800 crystals just on that. And you get a box that could potentially give you something cool too. May not. I mean, the likelihood's low, but it's there. Like you can get another draw ticket of any type, another training time ticket, or even a sim particle. But the more likely thing is what I've gotten. It's down here. I got gold, I think, on all my boxes so far out of all those. But yeah. Anybody have anything to add about this patch that they noticed? I know there's been a few bugs. Trading Grounds, right, Driz?
Mega War.
Trading Grounds has a bug where your skills.
Yeah,
Like
you'll
the bug out?
cycle on the same skill repeatedly until you actually move your character again yourself, like taking it off of auto for a second.
So
And that's
playing-
one thing that's kept me out of training grounds a little bit more than I would have been today. I probably would have pushed for 120, but I didn't want to waste the time.
That doesn't
And-
seem to be universal across all characters, though.
Yes.
From
Yeah.
last-
I have noticed it.
Wild was saying flame build skills are even worse. Like he showed me a clip that was terrible. It was almost unplayable.
Yeah, I had.
Mine isn't that bad, but it sounds like a lot of people are experiencing
Yeah,
it.
I had that personally with my magic. I ulted, so I went into this animation and constantly kept doing it. It was like it was just constantly trying to do the ult, and it would never go off. Nothing else, like it wouldn't even detonate or anything. It was just sitting there like it was like being casted on repeat. So, keep an eye out for that. I would not go into training grounds AFK just for the risk, just because you'll be wasting time that you need to level.
And you can use the extra time if you've got the time and resources. Just focus a little on companions, getting that XP bonus up as much as possible. It'll make the time that you do spend in there later on in the week more efficient, or next week.
If you are having any consideration and have not on buying or getting a hold of the new companions that give XP, do that prior to training grounds.
Yes.
If you plan on getting them, do that before you go in there, because that's really the only way you're going to get it. You can do it while you're leveling to kill stuff. You'll get a little bit extra, but the amount of XP you get killing mobs in the story is a lot lower than you would expect to help yourself. But if you got a lot of XP gain, like some people do, cough dragon with 60%. You're probably going to be able to really value on that. But just getting a little bit will help. It'll save you the potential of not hitting 120 this week.
That's two other things about training grounds. They seem to have reduced the XP rate that you gain, despite raising the levels of the mobs. And a couple of people, besides myself, have noticed it could just be that it was crowded, but it seemed like what used to be the 105 area does not have the mob density that it used to have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no longer the ideal place to farm.
Yeah. So,
I disagree with that statement currently, simply because the 110 area is so congested.
it's true.
Well,
You'll have to
yeah,
evaluate. You'll have to evaluate it based on when you go in. Basically, is what that comes down to.
I tried both
Is if
today.
the high end, the 115 zone, if that's got nobody in it, that's going to be the better version. But if there's a bunch of people and you can't even get a tag off, you better go somewhere else. Because at least at that point.
Yeah, I tried both of them, and I definitely got more XP in the 115 zone, but then it got absolutely swarmed, just like it was unreal. Every single channel, just players on top of one another, like scrambling for kills, and I was like, I'm out. I'm not doing this.
And Channel 1 was actually congested this afternoon.
Channel 2 and 1 were congested when I was on a minute ago.
Yeah, even the channels that don't say they're congested, the spots that you normally want to farm, they're congested.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, even if it's the channel itself is not, that section's probably.
Yeah.
AFK or beware, kind of thing. Like basically, like if you plan on AFK in there, you better expect to have to adjust your spot.
Yeah.
But like as of right now, 1 and 2 are congested, 3, 4, and 5 are smooth. So it doesn't mean that the section that you want to go level at or that feels good isn't occupied. Just means there's potential.
And just remember that whenever you change channel in training grounds, it automatically resets you to what it thinks your best area is.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I think that wraps us up. I really appreciate you guys hanging out and doing this. I think we're planning on doing this a little bit more. It'll be a little bit more fine-tuned. I appreciate anybody that has any comments to help this better. I know it was a little long, but it was our first time doing it, so we'll probably definitely thin out a little bit of the monotony or the boring or slow parts. But it was also a pretty big patch, so, there's that too. So, we'll see you guys later, and
Till
have
next
fun.
time.
Yep.
Thanks, Z.
Next time. Thanks, Z.
All right. I'm gonna clip it, end it there based on the video or whatever. So.
Damn it, Critical, you bastard!
Fucking shit! I've been wanting to hit this shit for a long time.
What happened?
Fucking goddamn it, Critical, you fucking bastard!
How long have you been holding that in, Clutch?
So long. Fucking
What did he
son
do?
of a bitch, we were in an Omega War against each other. He was chasing me down the whole map.
He's not here. He left.
Oh.
Left.
He popped
even
in
know
to
if he's-
say like 3 words and then left.
He's probably like, this is. No, I think he was there most of the time though. After he joined.
I think
when
honestly,
I said I
left.
was done, he left.
No, I think he left after the war, to be honest. 'Cause I
When we
killed
were talking
him
about
and
DZ, I popped in.
we
Null
won.
hypothesis floated over and killed me, and then was like, "Oh man, you want to party up?" I just switched to PvP.
I beat him. I
and
killed him like 4 times.
Yeah, he ulted on me.
Oh, whoops! Again,
Whoops.
why the fuck are you in our fucking channel?
Them bitches.
All right, well, let's go make Lonely Boy.
Yeah.
Only boy, who is it?
yeah.
Desto?
Yeah. Let's go back and talk
Why
to
did
Lonely
you-
Boy.
Why did you? We're back, Desto.
Hey, buddy.
No damage.
I only
Oh,
caught
see.
damage.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Hey, Lonely Boy.
On a side note, that was my best war that I've ever had.
What'd you do?
Hasn't said a word yet.
Were you trying out
He
that?
probably
PvP
went
card?
AFK.
I had like 40-something kills and like 1,600 points, and so Critical killed me at the last second. But we
Oh,
still
I had
won.
a really good
Nerf
mix
Captain
for
Marvel.
it, too. I like
What's
the
up?
new. I like the new the matchmaking system. I really
Yes.
There
It's
was like,
much more even.
There was like
Mhm.
17 people AFK in the spawn. It was
Oh.
so fun.
Z, were you here when Logic and I were talking about the targeting range thing?
I was, but I don't remember.
Okay. Has anybody
Much of
played
that.
around with it? I haven't wanted to touch it because I don't know if it's going to screw stuff up.
I increased it a little bit just because Starlord.
Alright, guys, so I'm gonna end stream. I'm probably gonna hop off here on game anyway, so, just 'cause it's getting kind of late. Sorry it was a little later, kind of a little quiet, no real interaction. I apologize for that, but, I'll see you guys later. Hopefully sometime tomorrow or Friday I'll hit 120 and we'll work on some of the 120 style content. So, till then, see you guys later.